Hey guys, it is Free's Journey, and today we are on part 2 of my video of making an interactive map. It didn't go so well. Like, literally it did not go well. It was cute. The vision was visioning. Like, I saw the vision and it executed. But then I ran into a much bigger problem. Like, a much bigger problem. But anyways, before I get into it, like, share, and subscribe. And link in the bio for my book series, Archives of BFF. Check it out. It's free to read. If you'd like to donate. Supports and updates tab. That's where you can go check it out. Anyways, let's get into the video. Pretty much what had happened was I messed up. And I found out that, so I use Wix. Not the greatest site to use right now for a web novel series, tell you that right now. I first spent the first couple of portion of the day working on the drawings. The drawings were fine. I didn't have really any true problem. I worked on, I worked on the hallway. So I did like the leader's room. That one was a little complicated with perspective, like there's perspective art on it, like drawing the desk, there's also an error I have in all of these pictures and all of my artwork. And this is weird to say from someone who went to art direction school, one of the top programs in the country, is there is an art inconsistency in all of my artwork, which is the windows. Every window. So I have it to where house I pretty much learned is very hard truth while drawing. Honestly, all the other artworks for this thing is that the windows aren't actually correct. The ones I drew, they're like, you know how there's like columns? Well, in the book, there's one column, so it's a plus. But when it's like with the other ones I drew in the novel, they're like grids, if that makes sense. So that was one problem. But I was like, it's fine. I'm the creative director, I guess, so who cares? I mean, it's fine. It's not like the end of the world, but I mean, it's a very easy fix that I will eventually get to. I have to, honestly, sometimes I keep forgetting that I have to honor the published artwork versus my drafts, even though I like my drafts more than my published work, because again, my first chapter book that is out now, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Walmart, I mean, you can kind of get it at a lot of places right now. You know, one thing that I realized is that like my artwork style wasn't that good. I published my first book back in 2023. Obviously, it's like been almost about a year and a half now. My art style has gotten better. My skills got better. I also published my book after I was only in art portfolio school for a year, art direction portfolio school for a year. So obviously my art got better. Not my best work, but I have to honor it because it's published. So if the windows look one way in my published work, then it's gonna have to look at least similar, at least in the same ballpark with the work I will publish later. So that's one thing. Next, I did the second polar room. That one was actually not bad. I didn't have like a true problem with working on the polar room. Drawing the couch was a bit complicated. But that one's interesting. Actually, in the chapter book, I know for sure there's a scene. It's the part where like Gene's coming in and I'm not trying to spoil anything from the chapter books because they're all like different short stories in a collective, an archive. Pretty much there is a scene though where the second Polaroid, Gene is coming in to like get something off the bookshelf, and then it's the scene where it's Samantha and Rebecca, they're chatting about a particular person, and that's the room where they're like, they have this like argument. I'm pretty sure it's Rebecca. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah. That's that room. That one was a pretty easy draw. The only thing is that there's a fireplace in there, but because of how I drew the perspective of the room, it's out of frame. That was easy though. Next! I drew the other hallway, and then yeah, now there was 3 doors there's 4 doors. There's 4 doors in these hallways. So hallway 2 and 3, where I just not gonna draw it again. Those doors go to 2 bathrooms. They're half baths, and then there is the storage. The storage actually does come up, especially in the chapter books. It comes up a lot. That's actually like, especially Machine line storage room, because there's like, it's one of those rooms. And then there is the The door that's near the movie theater room, which I'll get into in just a second, that leads to the backyard, which leads to a path to their production studio, which is, or their black box theater, which is behind the movie theater. You just have to access it from the outside. So getting into the movie theater, and I didn't draw those. So getting to the movie theater, that one was kind of complicated because I was like, it's a pretty big theater, and this theater, so you might be like, oh wait, how do you have all these rooms? And my saying is this, is that like over time they added it. So I'm trying to figure out where this movie theater actually comes in. I'm pretty sure it's during COVID. I'm pretty sure it's like around that time, because their black box theater was put in. But then again, I'm not sure. I don't know. I just know it's there. But it's a pretty big theater room. I don't know if they got repurposed. I don't know. Again, it comes up a lot though in the first, it comes up a lot actually just throughout chapter books especially. I don't think I'm going to bring it up a whole lot in the web novels, but that's like where the group will go and watch their movies. Like their movies, like let's say a character or a member of the group got featured into like a movie or a TV show. The entire group will meet in the movie theater room and they would watch it, chit chat about it. They might have meetings in there, but the meetings don't really happen. Those meetings though mainly happen at their stadium, which is the BFF stadium, and that's and then the BFF or Switch suites, which is their personal suite. They have a theater in there where they have meetings. So yeah, and drawing the chairs each chair was complicated. So I just drew one chair and I copy and pasted all and did perspective. I used the perspective tool, which is like, it can make it kind of thinner or thicker. And I did that. It was pretty chill. The stairs were complicated. I didn't know how to draw stairs because it does escalate down. Again, I don't even know how like that's possible if the house is not built on a hill. Okay, so pretty much what had happened was the website started off fine. It started off actually pretty, the way I thought was like, okay, have your first, so the entrance, which I already had pre-drawn from a previous animation, which turned into one of the pages I used for my graphic novel. So I just reused the house, essentially, that asset. I just made it black and white. And oh, by the way, I didn't color a lot of the other ones because I just wanted to see how the draft was. I felt led to just start the website, which I'm glad I did, because if I had drawn all of it and saw what happened later, it would have been a mess. But pretty much when I started, I started with the main house, put the arrow in, and I started putting the arrows around, right? And it was fine. I got the arrow going through the front door to the living room, and then from the living room you can go through the hidden hallway, which leads you to the trophy room, or to the hallway that leads you to like the studios and the practice rooms. And then I had an arrow going to the kitchen, and then the kitchen, an arrow going to the dining hall, and it actually worked. And then I kept adding my arrows, and it started to like really come together. And I was like, okay, cool. This is the setup we have going. I'm going to, once I finish like getting this all together, I am going to go back in, color it. I actually thought about putting color instead of doing like a black and white or just shading. I was going to color it. And then an error came. It said, according to Wix, and to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but with Wix, you could only use 100 static pages. Static pages pretty much mean every single time I go onto Wix and I want to create like a new page, I have to, it's a static. But if I want to make hundreds of pages, I have to do a dynamic. And so seeing that warning, I got that warning pretty early, honestly. And it was saying that I had like 52, 53 pages already used. And I had a remaining 47 pages left. And that's when it became a problem. Because one, this is a mansion. And there's plenty of rooms just on the bottom floor. And I was like, no. I'm going to run out quick. And if I don't run out, even though I had like 20 to 30 frames, so each would require its own page, because every time you click, it opens up a new page. It was going to be an absolute problem of mine. I'm not even gonna lie. And the problem got worse when I realized I either make this map or I can't, or I continue with my web novels. But then I realized, no, I'm trying to make well over 100 entries or archives for my web novel. There's not enough pages. I can't make enough pages on it. It doesn't matter if I'm on the light plan or I'm on the business plan, which the business plan is buku expensive unless I get yearly. And if I'm, no, it's just not gonna work. Which donations? My goal is honestly to get the site paid off for like at least 3 years. I really hate paying for the website, to be honest. I don't even get that much like gigabytes of storage, so I'm already at like a problem with that, which it's fine, but doing the map obviously was ranking up the storage amount I get. So while working on the website, I realized that there's just so many different problems starting to pile up, and I was getting very overwhelmed and very frustrated. And honestly, it just kind of was like it was rough. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't want to even start comparing and contrasting to different things. I don't want to start comparing and contrasting things, but it was rough. And so I grew into another problem, which, because I was like, oh, I'll just do the downstairs and stop there. And again, the arrows were clicking, the game was gamifying, it was good. And then, oh, by the way, I try to do dynamic pages, but with a dynamic page, the copy has, like, the setup of everything has to be the same. And because I have arrows, I moved an arrow around to like point like, okay, this arrow leads you here. It did not let me, one, link the arrow to a different page on the site, and it also did not let, if I changed the arrow's position on one page, it changed the arrow's position on all the other pages, so it didn't work. So that was one of my biggest problems. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. It was not good. And then the worst of them all, the phone version. That's when I realized, that's when I stopped, because the arrows, so when you're using buttons, especially on Wix, if they overlap, if these arrows, or the box that it's in at least, if it overlaps with another button, only one of the buttons will work. And because a phone screen is just much smaller than like a computer screen, and for context, I'm working on a monitor as well, so I know it'll look fine for like tablets, but then again, I also have a 12.9 inch iPad, so like this is also a big screen, so things are kind of skewed, honestly. It's so annoying. But the phone thing, the buttons weren't buttoning, the clicks weren't clicking, things were all over the place, and it just got worse and worse. And then that's when I realized I had to stop, and that was really annoying. That was not something that I wanted to do, because I was like, oh, I had this whole idea for this YouTube series, and now this part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 is just not going to be continuing, honestly, because now we have to do a different, because now I have a bigger problem, which is, do I continue using Wix to host my web novel? And that's very frustrating, because I'm really presented with a few options. This is the options I can think of. Either I have to gut the entire lost files page. I have to gut it all the way, the whole system I had set up. That includes the cover art. Either gut that and start putting like the 2012's chapters all together in one page, which is fine. I don't want to do that, because it would mess. I don't know what's the limit on how many. I don't know what's the limit pretty much on how much times I can make a new section on these pages can go. So that's one option. Or I will have to set it up as a blog. I don't know how much I can do for blogs. I don't know if I can make the blogs where it's like can I make multiple blogs or something? Do I have to pay extra for blogs? Do I want a blog setup? I don't know. It's really what can give me the most pages as possible. I know that with Wix, I don't even know, like there's still a limit essentially. So it's like, okay, well, do I have multiple pages? Like once I max out of 100, do I get a new domain? I looked at other web novelists who have their own pages, but the one that I really saw, they had a WordPress, and they made this back in 2011. So it needs WordPress, and I don't know if I want to go on WordPress. I don't even know how to use WordPress. the thing is also, Wix is actually really expensive. Like, it really is. I think I pay $23 for the light plan. I don't get much storage. I don't get much anything on it. My only other options that I can think of that are user friendly is Squarespace, and I know that there's WordPress, and I think there's like a few others, but like my thing is like I'm trying to build like a really big site. I don't know what to code, and some people are like, oh, we'll just learn code. I'm like, honey, I went to UT Austin. It got one of the top CS programs in the world, and so it also has, which that means they got the best teachers to possibly learn from. And I was going to get a minor in CS, computer science, and I got F. I got an F in the class. I couldn't pass CS, elements of computer. I don't know. It was like elements of computering or something, and coding. I couldn't pass the class to save my life. Every assignment I did on there, I got a 0. Like, just flat out 0. It didn't matter. I mean, I couldn't pass class, and I had to drop it. And I took it during COVID too, so they were pretty easy on the students during that time, and I still couldn't pass class. So therefore, I'm not good at it. Yes, there's HTML, that's like a whole nother skill, and my site is too complicated if you just like click around in it, just seeing how it is. I do need like a user-friendly site. The problem is that I don't know where to transfer to where the price will still be the same. I like Wix, but if I have to transfer to a website, it's gonna be so complicated. Now, there is platforms that I could post my web novel, and that's the question, if I want to. And I don't know if I'm being led to that. I'm not sure. There's Patreon, but that means I have to paywall stuff, and I don't want to paywall stuff. And I don't like Patreon. I don't like how it looks, and I feel like it's limited. No, this is for posting my web novels. So that's for like posting my web novels, because I can still keep this site. I just can't. I have to find a better way to present and storage all these web novels. Because web novels, there's a web novel. I won't name it because it's not the most of. I don't even think it's a Christian. It's pretty, you know what I mean? No, it has some core values. But it's a really popular one, and it has over 6,000 chapters. I don't know if I can put I can't put 6,000 pages on Wix. I sure can't put over 2,000 pages on Wix unless it's a dynamic, and even then I have to pay extra once I hit a certain number, because after 1,000 it gets a little. So it's like, where do I put this? I see some people use Patreon. I don't want to paywall it though. I'm pretty sure there's a way where you can still read it for free on Patreon. There's obviously webnovel.com. I'm not putting my stuff on there because I will lose my intellectual property if I post on there. I could get stuck in a 360 deal, so I can't post on there. There's Inkkit. I was posting on Inkkit when it was called a different name. And they actually liked it. Like Inkkit, like the community there, or the moderators, or I don't know, because you have to get your story, at least when I was on there, you had to get your story approved before you could post on there. And the people in Inkkit actually emailed me. They were like, what is this about? Is this based on a true story? It seems like it's based on a true story. And I was like, no, it's just realistic fiction. Because people actually asked me that about Switch or the Archives of BFF. I was like, is this a true story? Is this about real people's lives? It's like, no. But it's funny how you think it is. People trying to put names like, what group is this? I haven't heard this group. Have I heard of them? Inkkit, I don't know. I know that you can get paid on here. I don't know if I want to use their site though. It's growing though, and there's a Galena, I don't know. I really am hesitant. I have to find a place where to host all these web novels, and that's the part that's getting kind of scary, because I have to find a place to host this thing. So that would probably be what my next YouTube video will be, which is I'm gonna record it literally right now after this video is done, because I have to find a place to host all this stuff, because I can't host it on here anymore. I can't host it on my own website, which is fine. It's fine. It's not, it's not the end of the world. The good news is I have all the writings backed up twice. I don't think I should gut this site though. I just don't think so, because there's more to it. It's not just my web novels that are hosted on here. I host like my graphic novels on here for sure. I host my chapter books on here, which are there's a link in there. You gotta dig for it. It's in one of my videos where I show how to find it. But there is a free ebook on here that you can read for the chapter books, or you can buy it. I do include all my meet and greet stuff is on here. The good news, obviously, about Jesus Christ and how he died for your sins and my sins. Obviously, there's that. And there's the errors pages, which is very helpful for anyone who is just curious. So yeah, it's the website. Now I'm thinking about it, it might just stay. But the web novels, they're gonna have to go find a new place. We gotta find a home for my web novels. They're now orphans. They're not orphans, but they don't have a house because they gotta leave. I'm leaning towards Inkit for some odd reason in my spirit. I don't know why, but we'll see. We might not use it. We might go to Patreon, but Patreon costs, and the Lord is not leading me to charge y'all to read something, to experience someone's testimony. We can't paywall it. Now the Holy Spirit's kind of coming to me with that. We can't paywall testimony. That's supposed to be free to read. So if you want to support, donate. Bills still need to be paid for the website for next month. So if you feel led, it's $20. At least I could pay the $3, but $20 if anyone who wants to donate. Also, we are still trying to get the savings have officially started. Was been started. Or no. Yeah. To start saving up for a TV show. It might take a couple of years. It might take 6 months. Who knows? I need to start saving for it. So if you want to still send that donation there, I'll start creating a fund for it. And a percentage will go to the film. For context. For anyone who don't know how to produce a TV show. Oh, this is a long video. What the world? Let me hurry up. Okay, I'll wrap it up. For context, TV show, according to my producer's class at Tech in College, to produce a Netflix on my block TV show, 10 episodes kind of thing, or like Grand Army. I'm not recommending anyone to watch it. I'm just using them as examples. Those shows usually cost around $1 million per episode, but soap operas are much more cheaper. So we're not really worried too much on that. But pretty much we gotta start saving up for it. If you want to do it, you gotta do it right, because you have film crew, you have sets, you have actors and actresses you have to pay for, and there's also licensings, all the big stuff. Again, if you want to help, or if you want to at least put yourself up on the sign up or the interest form list, I have a email. I have the requirements on how to do that. Go to the support and update page, scroll to the very bottom. Then you have to send your resume and a cover letter. Yes, and please don't use ChatGPT for your cover letter. Anyways, that's all for the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. And follow us on Instagram, the Archives of BFF, and parisishernameluv on, that's my personal, or not my personal, but it's my public basement. Please check it out. And yeah, have a nice one. Bye.